saw one of the lads from OR Esports lose out on Max, we haven't really seen a lot of action, and that is all because of the fact that we have a northeastern zone in this particular map of Miramar, and
Yeah.
northeastern zones can be extremely tricky. You have a lot of open terrain to cover up, especially if you're going to try and move between Picardo and Los Leones. There aren't a lot of hills in those positions, so it's just a lot of flat areas with a few ridges. And every single time you go over a ridge, you don't know who is waiting for you on the other side.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that is one of the beauties of Miramar is, right? You find yourself in ridges and you find yourself in positions where you don't really have a lot of hard cover for yourself, but the only thing which you can potentially do is to try and take cover of those ridges. And this is one of the reasons why there's always one of those teams or squads who are just trying to use one of the bowels, which we call it, or one of the valleys. And as soon as you cross that bridge, you're like, oh, wait, there's just three teams, three or four players waiting for me. So it does actually get a little dicey. But this map of Miramar, apart from that one off finish that we had seen on OR Esports, apart from that, it's been rather peaceful and we've had a nice little sunny day so far. But as soon as I say peaceful,
Ooh,
what is wrong with me? As soon as I say peaceful, UP50 gets showered with bullets in X7. They were almost hunting them down.
so apparently you don't just curse teams anymore. You just curse the entire game, Salty. That's what's happening with you. But let's see. I mean, I won't really blame you for this one. I mean, this is a fight that I actually want to witness UP50 and the players of X7, because UP50, I mean, they had a phenomenal run during the round one performance along with X7, and this is going to be a pretty intriguing fight for me, considering UP50 are in a sandwich situation. And as we look at the map and the movements of these teams, it looks like both of them have the same game plan. Avoid this early collision one way or the
Oh
other.
no.
But look at this, as UP50 try to move in the opposite direction of X7, they have been spotted out by the players of Team Tribal Esports. Now, shots are being fired by Joker, but hardly any of them have connected on the opposition so far.
Exactly, and this is one of the reasons why you should probably try and get yourselves those long range scopes, probably a 6x or an 8x onto that Mini 14 could have done a much better job than the 3x what he just possesses. But right now, have a look at this Team Psych. They know as a matter of fact that Team Elite are trying to wrap around them. They're just in the front lines, a couple of nades being lobbed in, and this is nice stuff, right? They're trying to keep in
Yeah.
the distance by deploying the nades itself, not letting them close it way too much. But Team Elite, they are persistent. Then they want to try and push them back. CV actually is on the offense right now, and he's the one who is getting charged in by Hani OG as well as another one. A nade being lobbed in, it explodes, takes around 75% HP off that man. It's going to be interesting to find out if Hani actually finds a knock onto him. In fact, it's not Hani, it's Maverick from the other side who finds that deadly blow onto him, and now it's man advantage for Team Elite.
Well, let's see. It is an advantage for Team Elite, but will they be able to convert this into those finish points? They have secured a knock, and even the knock was on an isolated player surrounded by the lads of Team Elite from every single direction. So he basically has nowhere left to go. Rocky on the other side, as he was trying to delay any rotation from the other players of uh, Team Psych, he himself has taken a lot of damage and was forced to go behind the ridge. Oh my goodness, that is a massive molly blunder over there. They intended to toss it towards this compound, but it did just fall short right on that ridge, and Team Elite were forced to go for a dry push towards the opposition. It is a risky moment, but look at the finish feed. We see OR Esports again, again in an awkward
Yeah.
position, as it is Galaxy Esports that is pushing upon them right now. And Admino, he's trying his level best to avoid giving information to the opposition in any way, as even Mac has been finished off from the side of OR, and Admino and Jelly are the last two surviving players from this team.
Yeah. It seems like it's getting extremely difficult for OR to actually sustain this pressure. If there's any fans in chat who are supporting OR right now, G pay 50 rupees to me and I'll instantly pick up that curse back. But if you don't, then they are going to suffer. But coming back into the game once again, Team Soul, Team Newman, once again in close proximity. And definitely not the ideal start for Team Newman, especially the way Erangel went by. They were always in very precarious positions and they could never really find that flow going into the game. Team Soul, of course, they've had a completely blank run and they were absolutely destroying teams. And once again, they have predicted the circle. They are quite well inside and they've got a good position inside of it as well. This circle is rather the most basic Miramar circle which we could find, especially since it encapsulates a little bit of Al Hazar. You've got the Junkyard region as well. You don't really have that high of a topographical region as well. Yes, couple of ridges here and there. You have those little compounds and shacks to work with as well. So for majority of the teams, I think it will be a battle or a contest for these little compounds that there is. A lot of teams will try and come in with 4 vehicle slams, Johnny.
I mean, that has been an option for a lot of these teams for a long time, but let's look at this. Team Soul Goblin observes the players of Newman rotating in front of his eyes, lets a few of them pass by, and as soon as he sees the third car, he starts taking those shots. Damage was dished out, but not enough to be able to secure a knock or pull off any moves. But Team Soul, at this point, I think they're just happy with just deterring the opposition from contesting them for any sort of control of this ridge. They want to play out this position, and I think that
Yeah.
is a wise decision as well because a few moments ago when we were looking at the map, we did see the players from the side of AEB India contest the center, and I think there will be a lot of pressure put on AEB India in a few short moments in the next few minutes. In fact, as we do see a lot of teams already pushing in their direction, and where Team Soul is, I think they are a little bit off center, and that should allow them a little bit of freedom and a little bit of safety for at least
Yeah.
the next 3 to 4 minutes. But my concern is, would that be enough time for them to actually be able to reset and think their strategy for the next few zones ahead? On the other side, though, talking about other teams, as we saw Team Psych also engage in an early fight, so a little bit of an update from that situation is the fact that CRV did in fact get finished off, and one more player from the side of Team Psych was taken out. So that team is just now inside of the game with their last two surviving players, just like OR, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, on the western part of the circle itself, Johnny, we saw that massive cluster with Growing Strong as well as UP50 and Team Newman Gaming. I feel like that is where majority of the collision is going to come from. And just like you mentioned, Team Soul being a little bit away from the center, it's gonna provide them that little bit of a safety cushion, that little bit of extra time to try and figure out their strategy for the late game, of course. But look at this, Team X7, they are on the move as their cavalry just moves forward. Spider Esports, of course, will try and take a couple of pot shots, but that's not gonna work. A longer rotation route, and I start wondering where is Team X7 looking for an entry point inside the circle?
I mean, they have made it all the way towards the western edge of the circle, and it's right in front of them. So it is quite an easy entry for them. But the main concern then becomes like there's a team coming in from the rear. I believe the players from High Voltage and X7. They are in a position to gatekeep that entire squad, secure the points, and then try and move forward to the next
Oh, no.
stage of this zone. But over here, X7 Winter, Spider Esports Spy. He's trying to connect the spray, and he has dished out a pretty good amount of damage, to be honest. So Winter, he has to be extremely careful. He needs to heal up as soon as possible. But look at this. I was talking about the players of High Voltage being gatekept by X7, but it is not X7 that has found their number. It is the lads from TF5, in fact, that are on the
Oh.
players of High Voltage at this point. And High Voltage, they are taking a massive hit in this fight. One of the players has been knocked out. Two of them are extremely low. And Seven Hill Esports, they are putting up immense pressure on this entire compound. Look at that Molotov lobbed for the stairs. It's going to force the player to come down and play from the ground floor, and he's being surrounded as well. Shots being fired on all windows, and there is nowhere left to go. High Voltage will just be wiped out from this game in a matter of seconds.
And that is the first team to actually get eliminated from this entire map. I
Yeah.
mean, we've had eliminations left, right, and center for sure, but this was the first squad wipe from this game, and it's been stage 4 already, ladies and gentlemen. There is not a lot of space inside this circle to actually host 15 teams inside it, and I'm pretty sure that there is going to be an absolute bloodbath For Team TF5, of course, the next priority is going to be to find a place inside the circle, but they are only moving towards Galaxy Esports and they are under heavy fire, especially from Hitesh IGL from the backlines. Of course, the rear, of course, has been guarded by Ninja OP as well as Karthik, but Reaper and Levi